Hello, neighbors!
Hello!
Hello! 잠깐만. 뱃살이 왜 이렇게 많이 하냐? Neighbors, right before we start, let's grab some coffee. Katie, what do you think?
Sounds good.
Sounds very good. Let's go. We need some caffeine. Keep your K-pop moves to yourself, please.
Cool. We need to like
Get
sit a
comfortable.
little bit like closer and looks like,
Yeah, like
we're
this.
more intimate.
Hello, neighbors. Today,
Welcome back.
we're reporting to you from our Lamborghini, and we wanted to, we do videos every week on recipes, but today we are your neighbors, and you should get to know your neighbors. So we have a list of Q&A. We actually made up some questions for ourselves, and then we also have some fast answer things that I thought would be fun for you to listen to, and also to get to know us better. So we have a little coffee in hand. I got some vanilla latte.
Some black tea latte.
And if you like the format of us talking, you should definitely join us on our podcast. There we have no restraints on time, and we usually go for like 1 hour. And it's been very fun on podcasts. So join us there if you like this.
Yes, it's called Future Neighbor Podcast.
That's right. And we usually take a deep dive on specific subjects. But what was the last one that we talked about?
Actually, we did answer some of your questions from Instagram on our podcast. So today is like the rest of the questions we haven't answered on our podcast.
Like a part 2.
Yeah.
Okay. So before we go into Q&A, I wanted to do a little bit of a icebreaker. Icebreaker, yes.
Let's get us started, Daniel.
Okay. So Katie doesn't know these questions in advance. I kind of brainstormed a little bit before we started. Number 1, these are agree and disagree.
Okay.
And if you're listening at home or watching, I want you to...
you can also give out your answers.
Yes. Number 1, it's okay to pee in the shower. Agree or disagree on the count of 3.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Agree. Yes. Who doesn't pee in the shower? I mean, come on. Actually, I got this question from this stupid reality TV show that I saw on Netflix, and they were just going through random questions, and someone was like, how could you pee in the shower? And I was like, how could you not? It just washes away in the water. It's gone. But okay, it seems like we're on the same page here.
Okay, that's
but
good to know.
How about in the ocean, right? When you're swimming, when you're out playing in the ocean, right? Yes or no?
No, you're not supposed to.
In the ocean?
Yeah, it's for the courtesy of other oceaners.
Okay, we disagree there. The ocean is humongous, and the whales pee.
Yeah, but like, what if like you are surrounded by a bunch of other swimmers?
Salt is a miracle ingredient. It'll
Guys,
disinfect.
you know now not to go near Daniel in the ocean.
How about peeing in the pool?
Of course not. That's the worst. You have? Don't tell me that. No, I think.
Of course, everyone has. It just depends on the distance of the restroom from the swimming pool and how big the swimming pool is. All right, we'll go to the second. Agree or disagree? If you're in a relationship, it's okay to fight and let your partner go to sleep angry. Agree or disagree?
잠깐만.
1.
It's okay. It's okay
2.
to fight and let your partner go home angry.
No, go to sleep angry.
Okay.
Agree or disagree? Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Agree.
Disagree. Okay, explain your answer. Explain your answer, Katie. Why you let me go to bed and you don't care?
It's not I don't care, because sleep does wonders. So the next morning you will just wake up with a different mood.
Oh,
and then
I see.
it can just make things better.
That's one of the most 답답해 things for me. I completely agree with your logic though. I think it makes sense. But for me, who's in it with you sometimes when we get into fights, I'm the type who would like to get all of the issues out and talk through it. But for you, you like to just and then next day you don't even want to talk about it. I feel like I'm the girl.
Sleep is the panacea.
The what?
Panacea. Panacea!
There you go. Okay, number 3.
Panacea. Oh, look at the kid. 너무 귀여워.
It's okay to skip university. Agree or disagree?
As of now.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
Agreed.
Okay. So, do you want to explain why you think so?
No, because as someone working in the software like IT industry, like in the tech, I feel like degree is very overvalued now, and like there's so many like resources out there online where you can like get like the same kind of knowledge, and just like it's all about your self-discipline now. Like it's, and also like given how expensive universities are in certain countries, I wonder whether it is like justified.
Yeah, given the cost, and I'm agree. I agree with you on all those points there.
Yeah, but it really depends on the areas of expertise you want to go into, I guess.
Yeah.
Like for tech, I think a lot of people agree that it's not as necessary as it used to be, but
if you're going to like if you're going to like
or-
medical school, you need to go
Yeah.
and learn fundamentals, or becoming a rocket scientist, then you should learn the basics of physics. And
Of course.
you can self-learn, but I think, I would say agree on most parts, but then when I look back on my own experience, I think those 4 years of being with people that are your age and being able to wander in your mind and being able to detach yourself from your parents' way of thinking,
Yeah.
and developing that ability to have your own opinion and to think through and to be able to learn, like learning how to learn, I think is the point of university. And I think that is really important. It's like an intangible that's not talked about too much, but that part, But is it worth 50,000 USD a year if you're going to school in the States?
And like you get a lot of student loans too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's I don't know. Okay, very good. Number 4. Are you guys with us? Aliens exist. Agree or
this
disagree?
One is difficult.
I know.
It depends on my mood.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Agree.
Whoa.
Yeah. I've seen documentaries where they say the aliens frequently appear in some sort of desert in the US. It only appears in the US.
Okay. So what desert is this?
Oh my god.
Beep, beep. Remember.
Nebraska?
Area 51 is in Nebraska, guys.
Yeah. But it never comes to Korea because we're so small.
Your rationale? Because we're small? It doesn't.
As in like the land is small.
So they only want to go into big land.
Yeah, where there are not many humans around. That's what I heard.
Interesting rationale, Katie.
And then I heard the aliens are very peaceful creatures. They don't want wars, but then humans like to like kill and attack them. So, but then at the same time, they're really like generous people. So they don't want a war with us. So that's why we've been able to live like in peace so far.
What? Can you name your sources? Just definition of fake news, guys. This is how FUD gets started. But no, there's been a lot of like more credible people talking about, there's been like fighter jet pilots who see mysterious objects that are able to move beyond our current technological capabilities, and they have no incentive to make lies up like that. And then there's like a scientist who saw this. I forget what it's called, but it passed by our Earth's orbit, and it's scientifically like admitted that this passed, but we don't know what it is, and there's no explanation for it, but it's seen to be not organically made. Maybe I've been listening to Joe Rogan too much. Listen to Joe Rogan podcast. But strangely, when I was young, saying that aliens exist was just, you would be discredited as just, this guy's just stupid or not really thinking. But now, as the years progress, like there's more like credible push that aliens do exist.
Yeah.
Not the Hollywood version, but this non-organic matter showing up. It's very interesting. Good. And then the last fast one. Did you look?
The last one. No, I didn't.
It's okay to have a best friend of the opposite sex.
Our best friend of the opposite sex.
Yeah, I mean like having a very close friend. Like if you had a guy,
yeah,
or if I had a girlfriend, if I had a girl that was or one of my best friends, and we just kept maintaining a relationship.
Yeah, okay.
Agree or disagree? It's okay. 1, 2, 3.
Agreed.
Disagree.
Oh.
Yeah.
But I know you have a few girlfriends that you are close to.
Yeah, but they're at a distance. What if I call them every day?
Of course not, but like
I'm
you
talking
can still have friends.
Yeah, friends
friends
are okay, but I guess the key word here is like
best
friend.
Best friend.
Yeah.
That might be quite difficult.
Yeah. I think as you get older and none of my friends that are girls, I'll talk to them maybe like once in a while on Facebook or like on a chat messenger. Just staying in touch up till that level, but like if I was as close to them as I am with some of my guy friends where I'm talking like once a week or what, that would make you feel uncomfortable, no? You wouldn't like that, right?
No. But
I wouldn't
also
like that
if
either.
they're married too, their partner would feel uncomfortable too. I would think about their partner too, how they would view like our relationship.
Yeah. So it's not possible. Well, it is possible, but
I wouldn't like it.
I wouldn't like it either. Yeah. That's why.
I guess we're not too Hollywood style.
Yeah, I think we're true Korean style. All right, that was it.
So what's next? Let's get into more like juicy topics.
We will. But
so let's get into the real questions.
For neighbors who are just joining us and joining Future Neighbor, you guys may not know too much about us. Go check out our first Q&A. We talk about how we met and all these other kind of more level 1 questions. But since you're watching the video now, let's do some food preference questions.
Okay.
tteokbokki or soondae? 1, 2, 3.
Soondae.
Soondae.
Yeah, he's a soondae guy.
Soondae is blood sausage.
Yeah.
I take those savory blood sausages any day over the tteokbokki.
Really?
Yeah.
No. Tteokbokki is my priority
But
all the time.
But I would eat my soondae next to someone who ordered a tteokbokki. That way I could dip it in theirs.
You're a sleeky.
Sleeky.
Yeah.
짜장면 or 짬뽕? 1, 2, 3.
잠깐만. Okay. 잠깐만. This one's difficult. 짜장면 or 짬뽕? 짜장면 or 짬뽕? 너무 어려워. It's like to be or not to be. So difficult.
Ready? Out of all the questions we answered, this is where you paused the longest. 1, 2,
잠깐만.
3.
It really depends on my mood. Can I have 반반?
No. In these hypothetical situations, the person who says 반반 is the most boring person. You have to choose a side. No fence sitting. 1, 2, 3.
짜장면! Yay!
Nice. I used to not be a jjajangmyeon person. I'd be 짬뽕 all day. But after moving to Korea and having really good jjajangmyeon here, they must put some chemicals or they must put some like
MSG.
A lot of MSG. And actually, talking about jjajangmyeon, you know the recipe that we give you on Future Neighbor? Most of the restaurants use a different brand. I know what it looks like. It comes in this metal tin can and it's like this big.
춘장.
Yeah, the 춘장, it's this big, so it's not good for home version. But if you use that 춘장 black paste, it tastes just like the restaurants. And like I haven't considered selling it on gochujang, but it weighs too much. It would be like over $100 to ship that. I think it's like over 3 kilos to send that. It's just the price gets ridiculous. Anyway, FYI, if you ever think why it doesn't taste exactly like the restaurant, it's the chunjang paste. 탕수육, which is the deep fried pork.
Sweet and sour pork.
This is an ongoing debate in Korea. Do you dip it in the sauce, or do you get the sauce and pour it over the fried pork?
In Korean, it's 찍먹 or 부먹.
Yeah.
찍먹 is like you do you dip it there?
Uh-huh.
Or 부먹 is do you pour the sauce entirely and soak it?
Yeah.
So,
1, 2, 3. 찍먹.
나도 찍먹.
Yeah. I don't think we're a saucy type of people.
I like the 탕수육 to remain crispy.
Our personalities are very, a little bit conservative. We're not the flashy, in your face, 부어 먹고 type, You know what I'm hinting at? I don't think you are.
No.
No, okay. It's alright. We'll move on. 된장찌개 or 김치찌개?
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
김치찌개!
Ah.
You're late!
No,
Out!
But you changed you. You always used to be 된장찌개.
Yes.
What happened to the 된장면?
된장면?
아니야, 된장면.
된장면? Yeah, I'm traditionally a 된장찌개 girl.
Yeah.
But over the past few weeks, I switched to 김치찌개. I've been craving something spicy with a little bit of like spicy flavor.
Yeah.
So I moved over to kimchi-jjigae for now.
I'm getting too much vitamin D here. My gosh,
That's
chasing me.
great.
I know, I need more vitamin D.
If you're alone, would you rather eat alone at a restaurant or just order at home?
Ready?
1, 2, 3.
Eat
Order
alone.
at home. Oh, so you can go to a restaurant and eat alone?
Yeah, I have no problem with that.
Oh, wow.
I don't actually like
So brave.
ordering at home too much.
Yeah. me
But
too.
you
But
never.
if I'm alone, I would rather just order at home or just cook at home. I would probably least likely to go to a restaurant alone.
And eat by. Yeah, my mom said she would never go eat at a restaurant by herself. Even like those like restaurants that are not like proper restaurants, but like the fast and simple ones.
Yeah.
Like even at Chipotle, my mom said she would never like eat by herself.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I just feel a little bit. I guess I'm not that used to it. I feel quite uncomfortable.
I feel like self-conscious about it.
Yeah.
People are like, who is that girl eating all by herself?
Yeah. When in fact nobody's caring.
I know, they're all on their foods.
Yeah. 양념 chicken or fried chicken?
What is
So
양념
the
chicken?
fried chicken without sauce or the fried chicken with the savory sauce on
Like
top?
sticky, like saucy?
Yeah, sweet and sour kind of sauce.
I think our neighbors know my answer. Ready?
1, 2, 3, 후라이!
Fried chicken. We're not a saucy. Again, this goes back to that pouring that sauce over our 탕수육. We like the original style.
Wow, this one. So you guys want the 물냉면 or 비빔냉면? So 물냉면 is the one with the soup. 비빔 is without soup, just with the sauce.
And spicy.
하나, 둘, 셋. 물냉면. No, you're a 비빔냉면
No,
guy.
I've changed. In my 20s, I was all about the spicy, cold bibimbap style. But once I got into my 30s, I just preferred the less spicy. Like really. Now I usually order 물냉면. Just a little bit of vinegar on top. You guys know what I'm talking about. Korean barbecue. All
But
right.
do you know one thing that I remember was when we went to this 냉면 place one time, and then back then you were just always ordering 비빔 and
Yeah.
I'm 물, right?
Yeah.
So we ordered one of each, and then when the waitress came, and then when she realized that I ordered 물냉면
Yeah.
and you ordered 비빔, she was like, "Oh, it's quite peculiar, this couple. People usually, like guys usually order
The 비빔.
물, and the girl usually orders 비빔 apparently."
I think our relationship, we go against the grain. I do a lot of the girl things, like
Yeah.
cooking and cleaning,
Oh, stereotype.
and Katie does. I don't know.
I do a lot of like heavy lifting in this household.
Yeah, she splits the firewood outside in the
Yeah.
forest.
Yeah,
She-
like take care of the family. I'm the bread and butter.
All right, we'll take your word for it. So now let's go to a little bit of deeper questions. These, some of you guys have asked, and I threw a little bit of some ideas from our podcast as well. Number one. Katie, please.
So, are you ready to think a little bit? What's your definition of a true friend?
I think the definition of a friend, it changes from your 20s to 30s. I haven't gone into my 40s, so I don't know what that definition is now. But in my 30s, I think you go through that period of you have less time in your schedule to meet everyone in your circle, so you start picking who you want to invest into, or that's the thought that I've gone into. And I've had different criterias, but now I think it's people that I can be vulnerable with, like people who are not afraid to share things that they've struggled with, pains in their family, or very sensitive issues, that vulnerabilities that they have, complexes, and being able to share that with someone, it really heals you, and it also makes you able to tackle that issue. And so if I feel very comfortable with someone to do that, I know they're a good friend.
Yeah.
And I think that has been like a defining criteria for me. If you're a friend who we enjoy the weekends with, we like to go grab drinks, and we like to party together, but I don't trust you enough to actually open up, you're not really that a close friend. You're just a acquaintance. Yeah. So this being able to be vulnerable is a key criteria for mine. Yeah. And on the same kind of train of thought, I think people you're able to be vulnerable with are also people who celebrate your successes.
Yeah.
And comfort you in your failures. So yeah, when you are working hard towards something and you succeed, you want someone to celebrate with you.
Yeah.
And you want to tell them. But your acquaintances, those ones that you're not close with, a lot of times they'll get jealous. And it's kind of fake celebration, and you can see right through that, right? We, like humans, we know what's up. So I think those two criteria, someone who you can genuinely celebrate your successes and small wins in life with, and also being able to be vulnerable with. Yeah.
So do you think you can actually make these good friends even at a later point in life?
That's something I changed my mind on. Long time ago, I used to think that no new friends, in
your adulthood.
Yeah, it's very hard.
Like childhood friends are the best.
Yeah, like the ones that you met in high school or junior high, those become the closest friends because the amount of time you've compounded with them, they know you from your childhood. But as you get older, I think, at least for me, I'm always looking to expand my mind, do more dynamic things. I have new interest areas. And strangely, people that are very passionate on how they live their life, they don't have to be the smartest person, but people who enjoy living life, that's infectious. And I started opening myself up more and more to them. And people that I've met in Korea in the last 5 years have become some of my closest friends. And so I've changed my mind. I think you can build best friends at any time of your life because your needs change.
Yeah, I agree.
Anything else to add for you, or should we go to the next question?
Yeah, I think you've answered it well.
All right. So next one I'll toss to you. Who do people say you look like?
You. Seriously, people keep saying that we look like brothers and sisters.
Racists!
No, and then this is I get so offended. We don't look like at all. He's so ugly. 이건 넣지 마. We don't look like, I don't know, in my eyes, I don't look like him at all. I mean, we have completely different skin tone, different features, but I don't know, maybe in the eyes of a Western person, we look alike because we are Asian. I don't know, but it's one of the things that bothers me the most.
Face off, transferring, face on. baby, we're carbon copies. Xerox.
Yeah, but it's not just Western people. Actually, when I went to introduce him to my like relatives, one of the aunts was like, "You guys look kind of similar."
I think it's because we're spending so much time together, so our expressions.
No, I think it's the nose.
Put our noses together. My nose is pretty big.
It's because you have a round nose and I have a round nose.
Look at the diameter and the circumference.
I should have listened to my mom to get a nose surgery. To look a bit sharper and taller.
You know what? I want to open the window slightly.
Are we burning here?
I'm getting too hot. I'm too hot. But Katie, besides looking like me, you're lucky that was a compliment. Who else do people say you look like?
Actually, one of my friends recently reported to me that she thinks I look like this Japanese actress.
Okay.
Called Kuroki Haru.
Kuroki Haru?
Yeah, she appears on this Japanese drama called Nagi의 휴식, and I look her up, and I can kind of see why she was saying that. I showed you her picture, and you were like, kind of you do, right?
Yeah, because she looks kind of like spunky, cute, and that like fun energy. But there's another Korean girl that you always get. What's her name?
That was when I had short hair. I had a lot of people say I look like Kim Go-eun.
Kim Go-eun, yeah, I think so.
Is this a compliment?
Yeah, why not?
No, I just feel like every time somebody just has a single eyelid, they say I look like them.
Not the double eyelid?
Yeah. So it doesn't really mean much to me. But the Japanese lady, they say I look like her. Do we look alike? Please verify.
Wait, why did you get the most 엉뚱한 looking picture of her?
No, because I think this is the picture that I look
Is
like
she a
the
comedian?
most. No, she's an actress. 어떤 사진이 제일 비슷한 것 같아? What about you?
Do you know an actor named Wonbin? Jeez, Katie, your reaction is too big. No, actually, when I was studying in Japan, I think I said this in our podcast. Sorry, there might be some overlap. But my Japanese teacher, during class, one time she just kept like laughing to herself when she would look at me, and I had my hand raised, and I was like, "What's so funny?" And she was like, "Daniel-san, I will tell you later when the semester is over because I think your feeling might be hurt." And I was like, no, trust me, I have thick skin.
大丈夫です。
大丈夫です。Hi, just tell me. And so she brought me a calendar from her house who had the sumo professional sumo wrestler. His name was Asa Shoryu, and he was like a grand sumo wrestler, I think back in the 2000s, I think, and he's from Mongolia. But she said, you don't look like him because you're that fat. You look like him when you smile.
Wow, now I want to see his face.
Because my cheeks would go up, and then like that, like...
No, that's like my favorite part of your feature. When your cheeks go up and then like you have all these wrinkles come out.
Really?
I like it.
Okay. Sumo and Wonbin. That's usually what I get, so...
No comment.
All right.
Oh wow, what happens to us after we die?
Oh, this is sometimes something that we talk about, because like me and Katie, we like to go a little bit philosophical. Oh my gosh, I'm talking like you now. Philosophical. What do you think happens to us after we die? Where do we go? Your current understanding. We might look back on our YouTube video and laugh when we get older. So, but what happens?
No, my current understanding is that we turn to ashes and become nothing.
So nothing. It's done.
Nothing. Because, do you remember the times when you were in your mom's womb or before? No, right? You were nothing. Like, meaningless. Nobody.
Or you weren't aware of your existence.
Yeah, and I feel like this was what will happen. We'll go back to that state.
I see. So this heaven and hell and our souls, that's not so much.
There's not even a soul.
There's
I
no
don't
soul.
even believe in this soul.
There's no soul.
Yeah. I would love to believe
That's
in
why I
that.
always say you have no soul when we fight. I think when we die, we turn into energy. So I don't really dwell on this heaven or hell and kind of apart from religion. I think we detach from our body, and I don't know whether I want to call it a soul, but E equals MC squared. Energy is never destroyed. I think the energy that we carried on as a living spirit, it gets redistributed back into the fabric of time and space.
So
And we're no longer we're no longer bound by time, because time is a derivative of mass, right? Sorry, guys. But anyway, I think we turn back into energy, and
so there's no state of being or me, right?
you become part of the greater fabric of universe. And the most comforting thought is that in our mind, when we're trapped, I don't want to say trapped, when we're as part of our body, we have the burden of thought, which carries the burden of responsibilities and things that we have to do, right? The burdens of our thoughts, like, oh, I have to do this tomorrow. When we die, we're lifted of our thoughts.
So there's no thinking.
Yeah, you're not bound by your trivial thinking.
So there's no
like, oh, I have to worry about my kids, I have to worry about my future, I have to worry about money. All of that disappears, your thoughts disappear, and you just become one with energy. Next question. All right, the camera turned us off, which is a good cue that was a lengthy enough answer. And
all right, so next, what's the top pros and cons of living in Korea?
You want to go first?
The top pros, I think, is more and more, I think people like to, like, amongst the Koreans, more and more people appreciate living in Korea.
Yeah.
I think even like when I ask my friends around me or colleagues, I think the whole sentiment was that it used to be that it was it was more aspired. No, it was more like, 뭐라 그러지? People would in the past, people would look up to those people who moved to America or Europe. But nowadays, I think more and more people are like, they prefer to just stay in Korea and live here.
Yeah.
Because it's just, it's very convenient. We have everything here.
Yeah.
And it's very safe. And there isn't much that we lack in the Korean society. Maybe in the past it might have been like, I don't know,
when it was still developing and we were getting money, like, you
better
always look towards the West for better
exactly,
things.
better infrastructure in the West, or I don't know, better like job opportunities or what.
But Korea has passed that threshold where we're looking for foreign things to make. We've already got everything now, and it's comfortable. Yeah, I think that somehow I think that shift in thinking happened in like the early 2000s. People want to like stay in Korea.
Yeah, I think so. But of all the things, the most top of the top pro, if you had to pick one, would be, I think, the food. I just love Korean food so much. I just love the idea of having all these ingredients like around me, or having all these restaurants that I can go to whenever I want.
And the menu changes every season, right? All the restaurants work with seasonal ingredients. So for example, right now oysters are in, so we have a lot of like oyster chan, oyster buchim, oyster bibimbap,
like fries,
and,
oyster fries. Basically, there's no time to get bored.
Yeah, the menu
with all
is
this
always
like
changing.
variety of things happening.
Yeah.
Which is what
winter
I love.
you make kimchi, and then all the seafood comes, and then the spring comes and 달래 나오고, and like all this other.
Yeah. I love the seasonal ingredients.
I think for me personally, we got to see what the con is for you.
The con. I think the only con is that you cannot really learn English if you live in Korea.
What do you mean? But you already know English.
Oh, for me.
Yeah.
Like, I just mean in general. Like, if I see...
No, for you.
For me?
Yeah.
No, I want to say if there's one reason for someone... If there's one reason for someone to want to move to America or move to some other countries, that would be to teach their child how to speak English.
You know, but tying on that, that's very connected to my con too. That Korea, like just like Japan or any other, let's say, country, it's very homogenous society. So I miss when I grew up that I had Mexican friends, I had Indian friends, I had black friends, etc., etc. I had white friends, American friends, right? And so I get to see different cultures. I get to go to their home, and I would get to go to different weddings and see like how different cultures do stuff, and that really like opens your mind and gets you out of just your default way of thinking. But in Korea, again, it's like
it's still very foreign.
98% Korean, probably 99% Korean. So there's just the default way of thinking, and if something is trending, then everyone heard things and think that that is popular or that is hot or that is beautiful, and so it's very hard to have this individual way of thinking, right?
Or stand out from the crowd.
Yeah, like the definition of success, since everyone is thinking the same, it's the same. The definition of what a like if you look at all the Korean moms, they all buy the same type of ceramics, right? Right? If it trends on home shopping or something, they all buy it. Everyone buys the same brands. So that gets a little bit tiring.
Yeah, I agree.
But that ties into the fact that since you're only speaking your own language, it's hard to like see multicultural. Yeah. Don't I always say that like I miss like some of my like friends from back home where we could go to like I don't know, yeah, hitting on the same point.
But I know what you mean. I feel like there's a lack of diversity here.
Yeah.
And
but that's not a Korea specific issue. That's just the blessing of living in like a country like the US where it's made by different sets of immigrants, or like UK as well, and Canada and
it's
places
just
like
different.
That. Yeah. Now one thing that I want to add to that, like a pro of living in Korea for me personally, is that I grew up, I was born in Korea, in Busan, right? Busan, found it. 살아있네. And I moved to the States when I was 4. And I spent, I think, close to 20 years, did all of my education in the US. But growing up in the 90s was like, I talk a lot about this on the podcast, but I'm a minority in the US. I grew up as an immigrant. So we always wanted to be American, and I always thought, I always wanted to be as American as possible when I was very young. And part of living in the US as a minority is trying to become American. And so naturally that thinking itself, it makes you feel a minority. Just the thought of you have to be something else other than yourself, that the thought itself is you're a minority. But coming to Korea, that burden is lifted.
You're freed from that thought.
Yeah, I've never looked at differently. I never have to pretend like I'm representing the Asian race. I never have to present like I have to be... There's no weight. I'm just myself because I'm back part of my home country. I blend in. Maybe not the way that I think, but physically wise, I'm back part of the majority population. And there is this sense of comfort and security in that that's hard to describe. Like even my brother-in-law, who is Chinese American, it was his first time out of the US, but he came to Korea for the first time, or to any country, and he was telling me that, Daniel, strangely, I feel so comfortable here, just because I'm in a country where it's all Asian, right? And people don't look at him like, whoa, like, you know, he's not Korean.
Look.
Yeah. So this is not a like a sort of a talk about racism or anything like that. It's just a very personal thing that you might feel. So for example, if you're African American and you're living in the US and you visit Africa, you're gonna feel invisible physically. No one's gonna second guess that you're not part of the majority. And there is this comfort in that. If you're Mexican, you can try going to Mexico, if etc. etc. And so, yeah, I think that's a very nuanced thing, but I wanted to share that if you have the luxury of having some cash in the future or some disposable income, and you're an ethnic minority in the U.S. and you've never visited your home country, try going, and you'll know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Good point. All right. What were you both like during high school? It's from one of our good friends.
It's one of my friends. Yeah, I know why you asked this. Yeah, it's actually a question one of my best friends asked me, and he always likes to pretend like I bullied him in high school. But
did you?
No, he's like bullied. Yeah, right. But he always likes to play the victim. But he's like my best friend, and he teases me. So what were you like? I talked a lot. What were you like, Katie? Were you the angel that you are now? Huh?
No, as much as I like to say some funny stories,
Yeah.
I was just a very ordinary girl. I studied really, really hard.
Yeah.
I kept to a very, very strict schedule about studying because I had a goal where I wanted to go for university.
Yeah.
And I was really, really focused on that.
Yeah.
So after school, I always went to the school library, studied, and I was also at a boarding school for all my time at in the UK. So we had a very, very fixed schedule. So when we finished school at 4, went to library to study till 6. 6 we always had dinner. From 6 to 7 and after dinner was a little bit break. From 7 we had a homework session where we had to be all grouped into a room and do our homeworks for 2 hours from 7 to 9. And then from then on a small mini break, and then took shower, and then the lights will be off by 11. Yeah, and then I also shared room with other roommates. So yeah, there's also a reason why you need to stick to that schedule, because you don't want to disturb the other person too. So I lived a pretty boring but also
I'm happy.
tightly scheduled
I'm happy
life.
you lived a boring life.
Why?
So you didn't party too much and be too crazy. It's good.
What about you? How were you during high school? I don't think I could have handled you during high school if I met you in high school. I think you would have been just too much of a cool guy.
No. Yeah, but that's a good question. If we met earlier in life, would we have been attracted to each other?
No, I don't think so. I think you would have found me too boring, and I would have found you too overwhelming.
I haven't even described myself in high school, and you're already throwing all of your assumptions at me.
Also, I went to all-girls school.
Yeah.
So I was really naive and also very shy about guys until I went to uni. But even uni, I didn't date any guy. So he was my first boyfriend.
Who's he?
This guy. Yeah. And I met you quite late when I was 22, 23.
Yeah.
So actually, yeah, I've never dated any guy or I've never dated a guy before then. So
before who?
Before Daniel.
I'm sorry, I'm just being so obnoxious with it.
So what were you like during high school? Is it as I expected? That overwhelming guy?
No. I was just I always enjoyed cracking jokes and being funny. So I think the best description would be mischievous, but not obnoxious. I was not obnoxious. It's just mischievous. I just like to crack jokes in tense situations. Play some pranks on my friends, but I wasn't out there to bully people or anything. I just like to have fun.
Yeah.
While studying. Maybe an insecure overachiever who likes to have fun. Best description of when I was young. All right.
Can I also add? So one of the I also really appreciate my time at I also really appreciate my time in the UK because I went to a school that's very multicultural.
Yeah.
We had students from over 49 different countries.
Yeah.
It's very, very diverse. So I got to meet make friends with people from I don't know, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Mexico, Spain. Like it was very, very like grateful experience.
Yeah.
Now looking back, and also every year we had this like day called International Day, where like students from all different cultures come together and like they perform, like they share us some part about their culture.
Right.
And then one time, of course, like one time the Korean people got together and we wanted to like share something about K-pop, because that was like when still nobody really knew K-pop. It was still like a very like minor thing. So that time Wonder Girls was really, really hot. So, and then
Nobody but
yeah, and then their Tell Me. It was just when the song Tell Me came out. So we decided to do a dance to Tell Me, like as a performance. And then it became such a big success that like for a while everybody in the school was singing Tell Me, Tell Me.
Oh really? So
Yeah.
you introduced Tell Me to your
Yeah.
So you're
It was like a big success.
You're a K-pop ambassador.
So I learned the choreography. Tell me, tell me, tell me. And then like, yeah, I've always loved like this K-pop choreographies. So I would like do that secretly in my room.
That's good.
Yeah.
And the next question is, can you both describe the perfect meal? So, should I start? So for me, the perfect meal would be my grandma's oxtail soup, that 꼬리곰탕. We actually have a YouTube recipe of it, and it'd be like my last meal if I requested something. Like let's say I'm about to die and I just wanted one final meal, 꼬리곰탕, and then you put a little bit of salt, and then finely chopped green onions on top, little bit of fresh steamed rice. Oh man, I'm already getting hungry. And then yeah, maybe some kimchi or 깍두기 on the side, and it's very simple, but you just mix it in, and that would, for me, that would be just
Perfect meal.
that's it.
Sounds pretty good.
That's it for me. Yeah. I'm getting hungry already. And Katie, how about you?
So my perfect meal would be like typical 한식 밥상,
Okay.
like Korean meal set.
Uh-huh.
A bowl of rice with soup, maybe seaweed soup or
Seaweed soup. Out of all the soups, you'd pick seaweed soup.
no, I like or like the 오징어 묵국. I love radish soup. Actually, my favorite soup is the beef radish soup.
Ah,
And then
소고기
소고기 묵국.
묵국.
And then
We have a recipe for that too.
and then as the main, maybe like 제육볶음, which is
Pork,
no,
spicy
no,
pork,
no, I want to go for 오삼불고기, which is squid and pork
belly.
belly stir fry, and then with
No, baby, you
slice
gotta have some gajami, or like a nice
yeah,
freshly
gajami
grilled
too.
fish. You love fish.
Gajami too. It's gonna be a 10첩 밥상, which is 10 반찬s on one table.
You need a full table
With
spread.
the fish, the gajami fish, and then some 계란찜, 계란말이, and then some lettuce wrap, and then
I think you're cheating on the question. You're putting like 10 different dishes.
yeah, it's my last meal, or what you say, perfect meal.
Okay.
For me, it's always quantity over quality.
I feel sorry for the person who has to prep all this. You should just say it's 한식 buffet.
Yeah, 한식 buffet. This is why I love going to the 계절밥상, which is a seasonal table. We actually went and showed you guys all the Korean style like 반찬s they have at the buffet.
Yeah.
I want to go there again. It was so good.
So many of you guys have messaged us about, hey, you make YouTube look so cincy.
Easy.
Easy peasy. And I'm going to start a YouTube channel. Give me some tips. Well, I think the number one tip that I would give for new YouTubers is that choose a topic that you can do 100 videos on. Because the algorithm is not about making 1 or 2 viral video. You need to feed the algorithm. It's like a little hamster that you feed a carrot with. And then you need to give it another video, another video, another video. So don't be too narrow. Pick like a subject area that's broad enough. For us, Korean cuisine worked beautifully because we love Korean cooking. We've been doing it for a long time, like personally. And then also, Korean cuisine is so dynamic. We have like jjigae, stews, guk, soups, banchan, myeon, noodles. Then there's like tteobokki, it's like rice bowls, and it's just endless. You know, I have done almost 400 video recipes. I'm at like 388, 389 or something like that.
Still, there's more to do.
Yeah, there's still a lot, and there's still a lot of variations. Like, but anyway, my point is, pick a wide subject area that you wouldn't mind doing 100 videos in. Like if some friend was like, hey, I have this cool YouTube video. Oh, you know this area. Just make 1 video on it. It doesn't work like that. And Katie started a YouTube channel too, and she's in the beginning stages of trying to grow it. This is Katie.
Yeah.
It's considerably harder every year, right? Because there's more creators.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like competition for views, and there's more channels and more. From a user's perspective, you get much more dynamic channels, which is great. But from a creator's perspective, you have to become more, your thumbnails have to pop that much more, your content has to be that much more engaging. So what about you? What do you think?
So I try not to focus too much on the numbers or like the subs, because then like you just get too stressed and like kind of lose motivation. So I started this channel because mostly for me, I wanted to keep like a more video diary of what like things that I enjoy doing, or like times I spend with my family. So that alone is very rewarding. So like when I look back at my past videos, even though it's not that many, like gives me smile. So
sometimes I see you at nighttime just looking through the videos and smiling and laughing.
So I just try to enjoy the process. I don't really try to pressure myself to like, you know, keep up to a certain schedule, because that's not my priority.
So rather than the focus of trying to build a large YouTube channel, shift the focus as an excuse in the beginning, as like, let's say, make a diary for yourself. And later when it grows, the natural variables you'll consider about how to grow it more and more, that'll come naturally. But in the beginning, forget the views and numbers and just build something meaningful for yourself.
Exactly. And just enjoy the process.
And by the way, YouTube is not easy. It's
getting more and more difficult.
It's extremely time consuming, and you have to have a lot of work ethic to publish videos regularly.
And then the return for it is not as high as you guys would think.
I mean, for 2.5 years, like, I mean, I think it's not even $1,000 for like 2 years. Way less.
We wouldn't have been able to make a living if we just did YouTube.
But I quit my previous job, but I had money saved up, so I wasn't pressed. Like, I wasn't looking at YouTube as a lifeline for money. It was more of a hobby to help me figure out and clear my mind about where I wanted to go next. But then started to grow legs, and the numbers I couldn't deny once it started to grow bigger and bigger. And so, you know, we focused down on it. So, if you're bored of your 9-to-5 job on the weekends, just keep it growing in parallel like this until you can see that you found like sort of a subject area that fits with your audience and it starts growing. Then you can divert more focus and then maybe quit your day job, and once it starts passing into like the $3,000, $4,000 a month kind of, you know.
So the next question is your favorite dramas of all time. So, of course, you guys know the Crash Landing on You. I truly enjoy that drama, but I feel like everybody knows about that drama. The other drama that I really enjoyed was Alhambra의 궁전, Memories of Alhambra. That also has Hyunbin, and it's kind of like sci-fi game themed drama. It was really interesting, set in Granada in Spain. So
Granada.
they go back and forth between Seoul and Granada. There's quite a lot. I really enjoyed Mr. Sunshine, featuring Lee Byung-hun and Kim Tae-ri. I think that's her name. You like Kim Tae-ri,
Yeah, I do.
but you also like Scarlett Johansson. And there's quite a lot. Like I think I have a lot of old classic dramas that I really enjoyed.
Sorry, we had to repark the car because the sunshine is in my face. Let's continue. So the classics.
Some of the more recent dramas that I watched were 며느라기. So this is not on Netflix. I see it on Kakao TV, and it's like a very short mini series, depicting the lives of Korean wife, and it's actually based on a webtoon, and like it got a lot of popularity, so they turned it into dramas, and it's really interesting because it just shows like the typical reality of what a wife has to go through once they marry, especially their relationship with the father-in-law, mother-in-law.
Oh, I see.
So there's a lot of parts that I can relate to, so I watch it and it's really good. And also I watched Run On. I think it's still running with Shin Se-kyung and Im Si-hwan, but I kind of lost interest now because I don't know, the story wasn't as interesting. Oh, and there's some questions about our wedding details.
Okay.
So last week we had a meeting with our wedding venue, and so we got a lot of things sorted. And then I also in Korea, there's this thing called the soondae. It's a package. That's what it's kind of equivalent to the wedding planner. So they help you organize the dress and studio, the studio photo shoots. Is dress, me is makeup. So they help you organize that, and we had a meeting with that person too. And we picked where we want to do our studio photos. And next week we are going for wedding dress tour.
That's right.
Which I'm really excited about.
Yeah, I think we can pick a nice one.
Yeah, so I'm going to visit like 3 different places that I picked and try on a few dresses and see which one fit me the most. And I'll have to come to a decision where I have to select one dress shop. And after that, I will go to the dress shop again and then select my dress for both our wedding shoot as well as the wedding day. And we also have a meeting with a tailor suit place.
Yeah.
So you can get your suit too.
Yeah. But it's chugging along, and we plan to have it in June. And it was actually a good decision because if we didn't make the call earlier, then it doesn't look like this concept of what we had in mind of people dancing and enjoying each other's company and, you know, like an after party. I don't think that's going to happen in 2022. I'm sorry, in 2021. But even 2022 in the early stages. So we just decided to have our wedding Korean style intimate with our friends and family. My parents are now coming over
from the US.
From the US. Unfortunately, none of our friends can come. And I didn't even ask them because it's just a lot of them have kids too. And so we plan to have one in Korea. And then
just very small wedding with
like
just
an intimate
relatives.
wedding with the same venue too. We were lucky because they used to have a minimum capacity that we have to bring for food and stuff, but now they brought down that number, so we decided to have the same wedding at the same venue, and then we're gonna have a separate wedding. We're gonna have a second wedding. I think as the first leg of our honeymoon, right? Wherever we decide to go honeymoon. We're going to invite all of our friends, and we're going to have another ceremony. And, we're going to just party. And hopefully by then, everyone has their vaccine shots. This idea of celebration in groups is still feasible. I'm thinking probably 2022, or late 2022.
Yeah.
So it was a good decision because it took the burden of when is our wedding coming? Oh, my gosh. We have a fixed date now. We already waited a year and a half. So we've done plenty of waiting, and in Korea the situation is good. Yeah. How hard is it to adjust as a U.S. raised person to live in Korea? I cover this in our podcast quite a lot, and so check it out there.
We're gonna put a link in the description below.
Yeah.
Would you want to live in America again someday? Why or why not?
Maybe the better question is, would I want to move back?
To America.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah, right now the answer is... A long time ago, if you asked me, I would say yes, but now it's no. Because Korea is very comfortable. Love the medical insurance. You get to save a lot of money, like in Korea too. For now it's no.
We've lived long enough to understand the system.
Yeah.
Like how things work, how property works, and all these things.
Yeah.
If you move to a different country, it's gonna be a whole
You have to
new
start over.
experience.
Yeah. But comfort and security is a big thing, and I think we love it. But I mean, would you want to go back to the UK and try to
Yeah, I miss the UK
move
so
back
much.
to UK?
Like live there.
Yeah.
I mean, if we could like experiment and live maybe a year there,
Yeah.
I would love to do that.
Yeah. I think once we have kids, the equation would change. Like, do you want the kids to be educated in Korea in this homogenous society?
For the education, I would think a lot of people would prefer the West.
Yeah, because we both had the Western education and being educated with so many different cultures, and it's been kind of a very positive way in the way we think and view the world, and I think we would want basically our kids to have a similar experience too, right? So I think that would change then. But for now, Korea, Korea, Korea. Peace in Korea. All right, that's it, neighbors. I hope you had some coffee and you enjoyed this kind of conversation in the car. Maybe we'll do more of these if you enjoyed. It's a nice thing to get out of the kitchen and just always learning how to cooking and seeing close-up of food.
Yeah.
We want to interact with you, see your opinions. Feel free to shoot us any questions. We'll cover them in the podcast, or in the future, maybe we do some more of these. And other than that, we wish you a delightful weekend and enjoy life.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah. See you guys.
Bye.
Best regards from your neighbors in Korea.